Hey, it's 89.9 Qute FM. All that is the jam, and that's fitting. That's Mary J. Blige, No More Drama. And that song is fitting because we're continuing this conversation on breast cancer. And I have a friend, a young lady that I just met, and she's joining me in the air chair to continue this conversation. So, Brenda, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
Well, Brenda, I am so happy to have you here. And you're a Hartford native, and I know when you walked into this school, we're over here at JMA, you said, Joyce, this school brings back memories.
This school used to be called Clarence A. Barber School back in the day. And I was here from the 3rd to the 8th grade, and this school has changed so much. If I didn't know it was the same school, I wouldn't know where it was.
And look at that. They remixed it,
Yes.
everything. You said the parking lot used to be what?
The parking lot used to be our playground.
Get out of here.
For recess, we would go out in the back of the school, rain or shine.
Okay.
And we would play for recess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have fond memories of it. This boy that used to like me
Oh, hey now.
in the 4th grade, he threw a worm in my pocket.
Oh my gosh, Brenda.
So my coat went one way and I went the other way.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all those 4th grade experiences. Don't you love it? I tell you though. So welcome back, as
Thank
they say.
you.
Welcome back, Carter, if you will. But so you're here and you got some history going on as it relates to this school, and that's good to know because I didn't know that. So yeah. So listen, Brenda, we have been talking about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness, and I first and foremost want to thank you for coming in. You're a Hartford native.
Yes, born and raised.
And you attend Hopewell Baptist Church.
Yes, I do.
Yes, indeed. So shout out to Cynthia, because Cynthia was here earlier in the month talking about her journey, and she said, you know what, Joyce, there's another beautiful young lady that would love to come in and talk with you. So I want to thank you for that. And so you already know, Brenda, the importance of educating the community about breast cancer, particularly our African American women or women of African descent. So as we get ready to talk about breast cancer, I just want to let folks know that, you know, we've been having this conversation all month long, but it's a conversation that can continue all year because the awareness is so important.
Exactly.
Now, Brenda, you have a story that you like to share, a journey with our listeners.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I heard somebody say that if women paid as much attention to their breasts as men do,
Okay.
then the cancer would be detected earlier.
Oh, say that again.
If women paid as much attention to their breasts as men do, then the cancer would be detected earlier.
And you don't even have to clarify because we all know what that means.
That's right.
And we all know what that means.
That's right.
But unfortunately, that is not the case as it relates to us getting on the right track in combating this aggressive disease.
Exactly. Exactly. When I first found out, my husband and I were on vacation in Mexico, and I felt a little pimple. And I didn't know what it was, so when I got back home, I had a mammogram. And anytime the doctor calls you in twice, then you know something's up.
Something's up.
Yeah. So I did point it out to the technician, and that's when she went to tell the radiologist. And he called me in his office. So I had a biopsy done.
Okay.
And she called me at home and told me, unfortunately, I hate to give you this message over the phone, but it is cancer. So naturally, when the big C word comes up, you know, the first thing people think about is, oh, I'm going to die.
Okay.
You know.
Is that what your first thought was?
That was my first thought. So my husband and I, he told me not to worry about it. I cried and everything. The good thing is God is so good.
All the time, yes.
And I went to a breast cancer surgeon, and because I had caught it in its very early stages, mine was what they classify as a 1A.
What does that mean?
1A means it's just starting. She told me I could go on vacation, you know, before I had anything done. What they wanted to do was they wanted to do a lumpectomy.
Okay.
They wanted to go in and remove that part of the cancer.
Okay.
So she scheduled me for an outpatient visit. I went in. I had the cancer removed. I also had a lymph node removed just to make sure that it hadn't spread.
Sure.
You know. And she told me she got it all. I went home, and I had to wait, I think, about 4 weeks. And to tell you how good God is again, I didn't have to have chemotherapy.
Okay.
I went right into radiation.
Okay.
Now, radiation it was 16 weeks of radiation, but it was every day except Saturday and Sunday. So that was grueling.
Mm-hmm.
My skin turned black.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stop the radiation for a week.
Okay.
Because she didn't want it to get infected.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So I'm going to just stop you there. And so listeners, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about breast cancer awareness. And joining me in the air chair is Brenda, and she's sharing her story, her journey as it relates to breast cancer. And I, first of all, again, I want to thank you for just coming in and being so transparent and open about your journey. And I know the information that you're sharing, I'm certain that there's a listener out there that has a journey or they're going through some stage of this. And so thank you for that. So as we're talking, Brenda, so you were in Mexico.
Yes.
You were in Mexico with your husband.
Yes.
And you discovered a lump.
Yes. Well, actually, it was a little pimple.
A pimple.
It wasn't even a lump. It was a little pimple.
So this was something new, something just out of the ordinary, never happened before.
Out of the blue, never happened before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then when you came back, you had your mammogram, and they said, you know what, you need to come back.
Yes.
And what were your thoughts then?
Well, my thoughts were, what could it be? You know, I mean, because I thought it maybe was like a topical pimple.
Right.
You know, I didn't know it went that deep.
Mm-hmm.
So I really didn't know what to think. I just knew, first of all, I didn't know where to go. But I had this good friend, Cynthia, who was on here previously, and I know she had gone through her breast cancer experience. So I pulled her aside, and I started asking her all kinds of questions. And she said, well, first thing you do is you write down everything you want to know. And this is what you ask the doctor. Well, my surgeon was so great that she answered every single question on my list without me even having to ask it.
Okay. Okay.
So
because when you found out, okay, now this is cancer, all right, Lord, what do I do?
Exactly.
Had that conversation ever come up in your family prior to you?
No, because no one in my family had ever had breast cancer. No one in my family had ever had cancer.
Okay.
So it was kind of shocking to me.
Very frightening, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, and you know, I mean, I asked myself the normal question, Lord, why me? And the reply I got back, why not you?
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, with a lot of praying and a lot of people praying for me, I was able to go through it.
And how important was that support system for you?
Oh, the support system was awesome. I think it was the difference of night and day. It was the difference of me taking a negative attitude and just going within myself as opposed to, okay, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
You know, with the Lord's help, I can deal with this.
Because, you know, Brenda and folks, as you're joining me, we're continuing this conversation about breast cancer. And so many of us go through so many different things. And oftentimes we just kind of internalize it. And we keep it to ourselves and say, you know what, we're just going to kind of push through. We're going to try to get through this.
Right.
But you took a different approach.
Yes.
You said, let me solicit one of my friends.
Yes.
And let them know what's going on.
Exactly.
And let me get involved in some type of talk group.
Right. Right. And that's what I did. And you know, there were a lot of people that were going through the same thing.
Okay.
Some more severe than mine, but the attitude that they had, because cancer preys on negativity.
Okay.
The one thing the doctor says was try not to worry about things because that just...
Lord, how do you not worry?
No,
though? You know what I mean?
You know,
we like to worry, and that's what we do.
That is what we do. I mean,
but
especially
I know
when it comes to yourself, and
yeah.
especially when you haven't experienced anything like that before. But having a support group is very important, very important, Because even though you are the person that has the cancer, it affects your family also.
Okay. Okay, I understand exactly what you're saying. And sometimes it's just hard to comprehend when you, as you say, hear the C word. How do you not freeze in your tracks? But you said, why not me? And now let me go ahead and do something.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to be a survivor.
Exactly.
This thing ain't going to get me like that.
That's right.
So now, Brenda, so you said, okay, so you were in stage 1 or A1 is what you called it.
1A.
1A. And you had to do radiation.
Right.
And you were going through, was it 16 or 18 weeks of radiation?
16 weeks of radiation every day except except Saturday and Sunday. And
how did you bounce back from that? Because you said it was grueling for you.
It was grueling. The breast that I had the cancer in, it was very sore, very tender. And it was 5 shades darker than what I am, you know. So I was concerned about that. But the main thing that I wanted was, well, if I have to go through the peeling, and if I have to go through the hurting, as long as the cancer is gone, then I thought it was worth it.
Okay, okay. And folks, if you're just tuning in, we're continuing this conversation about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness. And as you know, or as you may not know, 1 in 8 women will be afflicted with this horrific disease. And over 200,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer a year, and 40,000 will die from the disease a year. So one of the things that we're trying to do is just get the information out. I have Brenda here. She's talking personally about her journey and what worked for her, what she did as it relates to her breast cancer journey, and joining a support group, soliciting a good friend that had gone through this battle, and continuing to talk with that friend. How did you go about finding a good doctor?
The radiologist that did my biopsy, I asked her for a referral because I didn't know. And she referred me to this breast surgeon. So my husband and I went to see her. And the first thing he wanted to know, because she looked like she was about 16.
Oh, she's young.
So the first thing that he asked her is, you know, how many of these have you done?
Sure.
And she says, too many to count.
Oh, my goodness.
She said, but it's the only thing that I do. You know,
so she's a specialist.
She's a specialist. She doesn't dibble-dabble in anything else. Breast cancer is the only thing that she dealt with. So.
Okay, so you identified a specialist for your particular care.
Yes.
And which is very important. You know, you don't want folks jumping in this area, jumping in that area. Look, I want to know this is what you do and that you do it well.
I could not afford any trial and error.
Okay, okay. And so now, so what is life like for you now? And how long ago did your journey start?
I am a 6-year cancer survivor.
God bless, yes.
And I go to see my oncologist every 6 months. The last time I went to see her, I think it was last month, and she told me I would come in April of 2019, and after that, then we could make it a yearly thing.
Okay.
So that's how much I have progressed.
Oh, God bless you. Yes, indeed. God is good.
God is good all the time.
Yes, yes. Well, Brenda, I want to thank you for joining me and hanging out in the air chair. And as we're talking about your journey and what life is like for you now, what if anything, would you like to share with our listeners as it relates to your journey or any information you'd like to share?
Well, one thing that I would like to share is Connecticut has one of the largest breast cancer records in the United States. And I really didn't know why. So I asked my surgeon.
Okay.
And she said she thinks it's because the women in Connecticut go more frequently than any other states.
Now, what do you mean by that?
The women in Connecticut are probably, what's a better way to say it, that they're diagnosed a lot earlier.
Okay.
Or they get mammograms a lot more frequently.
Okay.
Than women in other states.
Okay.
You know, that's the only explanation that she could give me.
Okay.
But one thing that I want to tell your listeners, the women, is please take care of your girls.
Mm-hmm.
It is very important. Give yourself a breast exam every month. If you don't know how to do it, they have so many things online. You can go online and find out how to examine yourself and get mammograms because early detection is the key.
And that's what worked for you.
Exactly.
That's what worked for you. You were doing your self-exam. You found what you called a pimple. You had your follow-up mammogram, and they told you you had to come back.
Exactly. And
so you're a living, walking testimony that all of this comes full circle.
Exactly.
And you know, Brenda, as we continue this conversation, it's just what you said, that early detection is key. And one of the challenges in the message that we are trying to just pound the pavement with and get out is that for women of African descent, it has been a challenge because breast cancer, although we get it less than white women, it's afflicting us more so in death.
That's right.
It's being found in stage 3. It's being found in stage 4 versus the stage 1 or 2.
That's right.
Where it has already become very invasive in the body. And so there's so many different reasons of the different studies that say why that is. And we're not going to get into that. We're not going to do any blaming. We're not going to talk about is the medicine working or is it not. We're going to talk about what is key first and foremost is to check ourselves and do what we can do to get in there, to get ourselves checked out and catch this stuff early. Early. That's the key. Early detection. Yep. All right, I cut you off. What else you want to say?
Well, that's basically my journey. You know, I mean, I praise God every day that, you know, I didn't have to go through a lot of what some other women have gone through. I know women who have had mastectomies, people who have passed away from it. Because when I got it, I didn't really know what to do. I figured there are a lot of women out there who are in the same boat. So at my church, Hopewell Baptist Church, I asked my pastor if I could if I could start up a support group.
Okay.
And not only a support group for women who have cancer, but men, because men get breast cancer also.
Yes.
They're a lot more silent about it. They don't want to tell anybody.
Sure.
But it's a support group for the women who have had cancer, regardless of what stage or what you've gone through with it, and also for cancer supporters, people who support people that have cancer. So, and that's very important too, because they shouldn't be left out.
That's right.
Because it affects them also.
That's right. That's right. And when you talk about men, you know, I think sometimes men are shy in talking about it because it's the breast.
Yes.
But the bottom line is it's a tissue.
Exactly.
It's a tissue in our body that has become infested with a disease. And so there should be no reason for men to shy away from sharing this because just like you said, it is affecting our men as well. Not as prevalent as the women, but it is.
But it is.
And so you have the support group there at Hopewell.
Yes.
And as we get ready to wrap up, just when does the group meet?
The group meets every Tuesday after third Sunday.
Okay.
From 6 to 7.
Okay.
And it's women and, you know, people who support breast cancer survivors or any cancer. It doesn't have to be breast cancer. It could be any cancer.
Okay.
Our pastor had cancer, and he came and he shared his story with us. So we're there to uplift each other, you know, get information, try to help other people who may be going through the same thing.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Shout out to Pastor Massey over there at Hopewell.
Hey, Pastor.
All right. So, hey, listen, Brenda, again, thank you, and thank you for sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me.
You are in the air chair. We got to keep the music rolling because that's what we do around here. And so, Brenda, who is on your playlist? Who we gonna roll out to? What you got for us?
Oh, I love this little boy called Bruno Mars. He's such a cutie pie.
He is, too.
24 Magic.
There it is on 89.9. It's Qute FM.